All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Texas Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. We're very excited to have you joining us for this event today. We have some fantastic schools here with us. My name is Stephanie and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items for you. Quick reminder, your camera and microphone are off, so our presenters cannot see or hear you. However, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time during this session. This is just one of many different sessions happening. There is another slew of sessions tomorrow, so please be sure to check out the schedule on the website, sign up for anything else that you might be interested in. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/Texas. I would now like to turn it over to our first presenter, the University of Mary Washington.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Hart. I am one of the assistant directors with the University of Mary Washington. The counselor who normally is your admissions counselor is Adam Moore. He couldn't be here tonight, so I will put his contact information in the chat. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, he is always available by phone, email, or text. But now to just give you a little bit of overview information about Mary Washington. We are a small public liberal arts institution in Virginia. We have about 4,100 undergraduate students, and we don't have any graduate students on our undergraduate campus. They have their own campus about 20 minutes away from us. So everything you'll see and hear about tonight on our Fredericksburg campus is just focused on undergraduate students and their undergraduate experience. We are in a great location in Fredericksburg. We are located right in between Washington, D.C. and Richmond, Virginia. So while we're in a small historic college town, all of our students have access to everything that the state capitol and our nation's capital have to offer in terms of resources, whether that's just things to do on the weekends, if you want to do an internship or job shadowing. We're super accessible both by car on I-95 and by train to everything that both of those cities have to offer. Diving into some of our academic information, like I said, we're pretty small. We have a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio with an average class size of about 19 students. So you're going to get a lot of that really intimate one-on-one interaction with your faculty members and the other students in your class. We really invite you to be an active participant in your learning. We don't do a whole lot of lecturing at Mary Washington, and we certainly don't do any of those large 100, 200, 300 person lectures. In fact, our largest lecture hall on campus only holds 75 people. So that's as big as a class can possibly get, with most of them being much, much smaller than that. We have majors in 3 different colleges. We have a College of Arts and Sciences, a College of Business, and a College of Education, but we make things pretty flexible. So if you want to take classes in all 3 of the colleges, it's totally possible. And then we actually don't make you declare a major until you have 28 credits with us. So you've got plenty of time to really explore, figure out what feels good for you before we ask you to make that decision. In addition, we do a lot of hands-on learning at Mary Washington, and one of those is undergraduate research. It's one of the things that you can do to fulfill your experiential learning requirement with us. Like I said, we don't have any graduate students, so if you are interested in research, all of our faculty are doing research with undergraduate students, and we have over $750,000 worth of funding set aside to support that undergraduate research every single year. For student life, we have over 150 different organizations on our campus. We have everything from pre-professional organizations, academic, community service, and things that are just for fun. We have a botany club. We have a lightsaber club that has laser battles. There really is something for everyone. And if there's something that you're looking for that we don't currently offer, we make it super easy to get clubs off the ground as well. We also have varsity club and intramural sports. So depending on that level of competition that you're looking for, there is something for everyone who's looking to get active. We are in Division 3 of the Coast to Coast Conference, and the only major sport that we don't have is football, but you can buy t-shirts in our bookstore that say that we're undefeated since 1908. As for study abroad, we have 135 different programs in 56 different countries. We offer study abroad in 3 different formats. So we have traditional study abroad, we have exchange programs, and then we have what we call faculty-led programs. The faculty-led programs are a little bit shorter. They're anywhere from a week to 6 weeks long, and they take place over student breaks. It's really easy to fit a study abroad program in that way. If you're the kind of person who's like, hey, I just got to college, I just made all these new friends, I don't want to take an entire semester away from that. You can fit a study abroad trip in over the summer or during spring break or fall break, and still get to experience, 4 full years at Mary Washington. As for some of our admissions information, we are on the Common App as well as having our own application. We do not have a preference as to which one you submit. We are also completely test optional. So if you can't test, if you don't want to test, if you don't like your test scores, don't worry about it. We do not need to see those. We will evaluate you for admission and for merit aid with or without those test scores. So you can qualify for all of our merit scholarships all the way up through our full ride pieces without your test scores. That is totally optional. We've been test optional for 7 years now, so it's something that we're very, very comfortable with. If you would like to come visit us, we are open 5 days a week. For tours, we have a tour at 10:30 and a tour at 2 o'clock. And then we also offer 2 on Saturdays, and we also have some events coming up. We have a virtual open house this Saturday on October 30th, if you'd like to join us virtually. And we also have an open house in person next Saturday on November 6th. And we would love to see you on campus. We are also very, very active on our social media sites. You can find us most places by searching at Mary Wash. But thank you all so much for joining us this evening. And I will try and answer as many questions as I can in the chat.
Almost started talking without unmuting myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Erin. I'm one of the assistant directors in the admissions office at James Madison University, also in Virginia. Kind of a fun fact, Mary Washington, the school you just heard from, and JMU were actually founded or created with the same bill that went before the Virginia government. So we have a lot in common. We've been parallels for quite some time. But there are some differences that I'm going to tell you about. That is that we are one of the public universities in Virginia, a lot of school spirit, a lot of traditions on campus. And some of our traditions are athletic related. Every time we score in football, we throw purple and gold streamers. And we're fortunate our team scores a lot, so we go through a lot of streamers. But we also have traditions that are based around food. Wednesdays are peanut butter pie Wednesdays. Thursdays are grilled cheese Thursdays. Friday is Buffalo Mash Fridays, which is a very JMU specific dish that I think you can really only find on our campus. So lots of fun school spirit and traditions all over campus. So as I said, we are one of the public universities in Virginia. We're on the bigger side. We have about 20,000 undergraduates, but our average class size is only 25 and our student to faculty ratio is 16:1. So you get the resources of that big, large public university, but the feeling of a small college academically. You get to know your professors, you get to know your classmates. You cannot walk across campus without seeing somebody that you know, but you can also make a new friend every day if that's what you'd like to do. We are Division I of the NCAA for all of our varsity sports. We also have club and intramural sports, about 450 student organizations. So there's a lot for students to do when they're not busy studying. And we like to say that great food, great support, great atmosphere. There's a reason that we have such a high retention rate and such a high satisfaction rate amongst our alumni. So in terms of the admissions process, we have 3 different application forms you can choose from. We have the JMU specific online application. We are also on the Coalition platform. And for the first time ever this year, we are now on the Common App. We don't have a preference of one of those forms over the other. In fact, by the time the application gets to me to review, it looks the same no matter which application you use. And our review process is based on your academics. So I spent a lot of time just studying the transcript to look to see what types of classes you took in the core subject areas based on what you had available to you during your time in high school. And then I look at your grades. So I'm not even looking at your GPA. I'm looking at your final grades in those core subject areas. We are also test-free. We stopped using the SAT and ACT back in 2017. We do not use it for admission. We don't require it for the Honors College, and we also don't require it for merit-based scholarships. And when I say we don't use it, I mean high score, low score, good or bad, it is not being used in any way for us for our process. So feel free to skip sending them to us because they won't help you, but not having them also won't hurt you. We don't admit based on intended major. So that's why we're looking at the overall academic in your core areas. Early action is non-binding. You apply by November 1, check that EA box. You're going to hear back from us in early January. And if you're offered admission, you still have until May 1st to decide if you want to accept that offer. Academic-wise, we offer about 164 different majors, minors, concentrations, programs of study, really all kinds of options for our students. And it's very common to double major or minor or have a couple of concentrations. As a very proud JMU alum, I can tell you that when I was a student, my major was communication studies with a concentration in public relations and a minor in human resource development. That's just a lot of words that say I'm a people person, and I wanted to make sure I was taking classes that were preparing me for a career where I got to interact with people as much as possible. But as you can see, there's a pretty wide mix of options here on campus. We're located in Harrisonburg, about 2 hours by car from Washington, D.C., and about 2 hours by car from Richmond, the capital of Virginia. We are literally right off of Interstate 81. In fact, 81 kind of goes on right through the middle or section of our campus, not quite the middle. So it makes us pretty easy to get to. There's a couple different airport options. Shenandoah Valley Regional Airport's about 15, 20 minutes away, with daily direct flights to Chicago as well as up to DC. So again, pretty easy to get to and from campus. Being in the Shenandoah Valley, we've got the Blue Ridge Mountains on one side, the Allegheny Mountains on the other. So a lot of opportunities for outdoor exploration. There's also a state park and a national forest and a ski resort about 20 minutes away. Now this is Virginia, so if we get 2 inches of snow, we do panic and get a snow day out of it. So that ski resort has to make a lot of their own snow, but it's still nice to have that nearby to take advantage. We are open for business in terms of visits. We offer information sessions and guided tours as well as self-guided tours year round. We have some virtual options as well. We've got in-person open houses. We have virtual open houses. I am also always happy to answer questions or set up Zoom sessions or try to connect students with some of our out-of-state students. So people can please feel free to contact me at any point. If you're not on our mailing list, if you go to j.mu/info, that's a way to sign up directly. Or again, you can always email me with any questions. And in case you guys missed it, I know we're using the Q&A box for questions today. So if you have any of those, please feel free to put them in there. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to the next school. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leah. I'm the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Champlain College. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully you all can see that there, a beautiful view of campus. So again, my name is Leah Miller. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the chance to work with students from Texas. So if you're applying to Champlain or want more information, I am your girl. What I'll do is I will put my contact information in the chat box there, so that way you folks have it and can copy that at any time. Without further ado, I am going to go ahead and start sharing and chatting a little bit more about Champlain. So we are located right in Burlington, Vermont, right on Lake Champlain, as you saw. We're a pretty small school. We have about 2,100 undergraduates. So what that means for you is your class sizes are going to be about 12 to 17 students. So if you do like that personalized attention, hands-on learning, Champlain could be the right fit. We do have students from over 40 states and 18 countries. So our campus is pretty diverse. You're going to have lots of students and lots of great discussions about different perspectives in your classes. At Champlain, we do education in 3D. So there's 3 major components that make up your academic model. One is the major. At Champlain, we have an upside down curriculum. What that means is you get to start taking 3 classes in your major your very first week here at Champlain. So with that being said, you can come in undeclared or you can come in with a major declared. If you are coming in undeclared into a division or Champlain as a whole, you have the chance to actually take different classes. That way you can explore and really figure out what you do or don't like about different majors before declaring at the end of your second year. The second piece of our academic model is the core. The core curriculum is kind of like those liberal arts classes, but because we have that upside down curriculum, there's no semester at Champlain where you have to take a math, English, science, history, art class like you might in high school. That upside down curriculum allows you to take your major classes and this interdisciplinary core where you're learning those reading, writing, critical thinking skills, group work, independent work, but it's much more hands-on working with the community, doing different projects that you can add to your resume and portfolio. The third piece of your curriculum is going to be your career component. I'll dive in deeper, but in addition to having an academic advisor to help you with your classes, every student has a career coach at Champlain. They run an insight program that gives you insight into career preparation and personal finance, so you're ready to go for those next steps before you graduate. At Champlain, we have 4 different divisions. We have the Stiller School of Business, we have Communication and Creative Media, Education and Human Studies, and Information and Technology Sciences. We have students that will double major within the same division. Accounting and finance is a very popular one. We have over 39 minors, so you can major in one division, minor in another. We have over 60 areas of concentration, so that way you really have the chance to explore and get a broad range of knowledge within your major and very specialized skill set within that specific program. We also have a degree design lab program, so you can actually design your own curriculum with a faculty mentor based on 2 or 3 different areas of study. So if you think that might fit you best, you can design your own curriculum. At Champlain, we have that insight program that I was talking about. So our students every year do different career positioning and personal finance activities. Some of those might be networking events. Some of them might be mock interviews with different companies you'd like to apply for, resume building workshops, or learning how to set up a LinkedIn profile. Different personal finance activities might be learning how to manage a budget, manage your lifestyle, opening up a credit card, navigate student loans, or do different things like negotiating salaries once you get that job offer. So they're there to help you every step of the way while you're at Champlain, and also once you graduate. You have access to your career coach indefinitely, which is amazing. So it really is a lifelong return on investment. At Champlain, we have 85% of our students do at least 1 or more internship or experiential learning opportunity. This is a huge piece of our academic experience at Champlain. We want you to have that hands-on learning so you can build up your resume and again, get that experience in figuring out which job and profession is going to be right for you. You can do those on campus, off campus, or maybe if you went home over the summer, or you can even do them abroad. At Champlain, we have 2 international campuses, one in Dublin, Ireland, and one in Montreal, Canada. We have a variety of partnership programs as well, but we make it really easy based on the majors that we offer for students to go study abroad at our campuses, get that real world experience with different clients, whether that's for a week, a semester, or for a year. You have a variety of opportunities to study abroad, short-term or long-term. While you're here on campus at Champlain, we do have over 21 mansions that you can call home. Housing is guaranteed for that first year. We also offer modern style living, gender fluid housing, and upperclassmen apartments. So there's definitely a wide variety of houses, as you can see here, for students to live in. On campus, we have a variety of activities as well, all student run. We have over 60 student run clubs and orgs and over 15 rec and intramural sports. We do have a varsity esports team, which is very popular. Other things like rugby, the dance team, equestrian, ping pong is one of our newest sports as well, but everything from ice hockey to basketball. Other clubs on campus, we have multicultural clubs, we have academic clubs like a Digital Forensics Association, we have CHAMP, which actually organizes all different student activities, and a variety of others, including a cappella clubs, theater groups, movie clubs, a whole variety of things. So definitely check those out on our website, or I encourage you to chat with our students. At Champlain, we're located right in Burlington, Vermont, which is a great college town, lots of networking opportunities, restaurants, as well as a variety of other activities. So definitely make sure you come visit us. That way you get to experience all that Burlington has to offer. Our students, their jobs do pay off once they graduate. 85% of our graduates are employed or enrolled within graduate school within 6 months of graduation. So there's definitely a high correlation getting that job that you want based on what you've studied at Champlain. We hope that everyone has the chance to apply, either early decision or regular decision. November 15th is going to be that deadline coming up, so definitely take advantage of that. But if you're looking at a few different schools, you can always apply regular decision with your different admissions materials. Thanks, everyone, and we hope that you have the chance to come visit us soon, either virtually for an Explore open house in November or on campus. Take care.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cristina Perez Ayala. I'm an assistant director of admissions at Bennington College, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm very excited to be able to talk to you about Bennington College today. So Bennington College is a small liberal arts college founded in 1932, originally as a women's college. In the 1960s, we went co-ed, and right now we're accepting of all genders. So to those of you who might not be very familiar with where exactly in the world is Bennington College and Bennington, Vermont, we are in the state of Vermont, very close to the border with Canada, as well as Albany. It's 45 minutes away. This is our closest airport. Our students also have a lot of opportunities to visit New York City and Boston. And this is particularly important when we talk about fieldwork term and everything that a student is able to do while at Bennington College. So, as I mentioned, Bennington was founded in 1932 as a laboratory for innovation in higher education. And what this means is that since 1932, we've been breaking many different boundaries. One of the first ones, for example, was including the visual and performing arts to the curriculum. So we are one of the first colleges that gave credit to the visual and performing arts. From there, we have also always believed that the student must be at the center of their own education, and this is going to mean that they are going to have the freedom to be able to shape and create their own education, which is part of one of the things that makes Bennington stand out. And finally, as a laboratory, there's going to need to be some hands-on experience. So we will look for students to be able to have an opportunity to go out into the working world and experience what it is like to work in the areas of study that they're interested in. So we're a small college, but we have a big impact. We have a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We have between 750, 700 students at any given time. And this is by design because we like our students to be able to form close-knit bonds with their community, to be able to know their professors, for the professors to be able to know them, and for many links to continue to form in this community where students can thrive. So some of the things that have been recognized in Bennington throughout the years is, of course, it has been for a long time a hub for creative writers, but also it has been recognized as one of the most entrepreneurial colleges, best classroom experiences, best college dorms, and many other different things that make Bennington a very, very special place. We also look towards continuing to cultivate an international mentality. And what this means is that we are going to push for students to have the opportunity to meet with many different students from all over the world and to be able to continue to acquire different parts of what makes the world move. So at Bennington, we have different houses, and all of these houses have different personalities. So when a student applies and decides to, is admitted and decides to come to Bennington, they have the opportunity to fill out a questionnaire, which will try to tailor to their particular lifestyle. So each one of these houses is going to have maybe a very outgoing sort of group, and that will help outgoing students continue to create community with other outgoing students. Maybe it will have students who are a little bit more particular about having some time to be able to read, or need to be more early birds than night owls, right? So it depends on each particular student, and all of these houses will cater to each student's different lifestyle. So all houses are all gender, all year, so you will be able to continue to generate community from the first moment that you step into the campus. So as I mentioned before, academics at Bennington looks differently because since we believe the student is at the center of their education, we really do push students to be able to select from the areas of study that they're interested in, what they want to study, how they want to study it, and why they want to study it. There we have 48 plus areas of study, so students can decide to look towards dance as well as maybe public action and maybe migration policy and earth science. And through this, want to answer the question, why do we move the way that we move? So we allow students to be able to direct their own academics and how they want their own experiences to pan out. And finally, one of the things that makes Bennington special is, of course, the fieldwork term. And it's that moment in time where students between January and February get to go out and experience what life is like in the working world. So students might be able to participate at Google and do an internship there, or they might also be able to go to Mass MoCA and work on restorations. So anything that they are interested in, they can work in and they can experience in fieldwork term. So how to apply, we have two different applications, the dimensional application and the common application, which I encourage you to look in at our website, which I will just post in the chat in just a second. We also have two different forms of financial aid, which is merit-based aid and need-based aid. We have been and continue to be test optional. So yes, for all of the students in Texas, I am your college rep. I'm very, very happy to be able to reach you today. And I will put all of my information in the chat. Thank you.
Awesome job to all of our presenters. Those presentations are fantastic. So we have a little bit of time left together before the end of this session. So we're going to spend that wrapping up with some Q&A. So if I could ask all of our presenters to please come back on camera. Wonderful, thank you. We will answer the questions in the same order that everyone presented in. So we'll see if we can get through 3 by the time our official time ends together. So our first question will be, what is one piece of advice that you would offer to someone going through the college search process?
Yeah, so the piece of advice that I always give to students going through this process is to really make sure that you're setting aside time to do some reflection on yourself and to check in with yourself throughout this process. It can be really stressful and it can feel really overwhelming. And so by starting with doing some reflection and reflecting on, who am I? What do I need out of a school? What do I need out of an environment? Do I learn better in a really interactive setting, or do I learn better by doing? Will help you figure out what's going to be a good fit for you, and it'll help you make those college lists. And then checking in with yourself regularly throughout the process will also help. This is really a matchmaking process. We're just looking to see if you're a good fit for our school and if we can be a good fit for you. And so by checking in with yourself and really being reflective, it's going to help you come through authentically on your application, and it's going to make everything a little bit more clear for you.
And to kind of go off of that, which is great advice, Amanda, I always remind students to breathe. The college application process can be scary, it can be stressful, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be a make or break for your whole life. So take deep breaths. Know that you can always make changes. If you find yourself at a school that's not the right fit, you can transfer to another university. So just keep taking those deep breaths.
I think one piece of advice I would say is to stay in touch with all of us. Whoever your admissions counselor is, no matter what school, always ask questions. We are the ones that are here to help you, to give you those answers or connect you to the right folks. Maybe it's current students. Maybe you want to know what the food is like. Maybe it's professors and you want to know how they teach their different classes, or who the professional network is that they have, where alumni are working. We're here, we have those answers, and we're happy to give them to you. Again, we want to make sure you make an informed college decision. So no question is too big or too small. Always ask. Never be afraid to ask. A lot of us, you can call, text, email. So whatever way works best for you, keep asking questions.
Leah, I think we must be connected through the Vermont mind area, because that is precisely my same advice. Ask any questions that you need to have answered or that you are curious about. Always over communicate. We are here for you, and that is our job. So just ask.
Wonderful. Question number 2. What is one thing that you would like students to remember about your school?
So the one thing that I want students to remember about Mary Washington is we are a community, and we are a community that cares about each other, and where each individual really matters. We are a place where students are not consumers. Students are really invited to be an active part of creating Mary Washington and making it home for all of us. And so that's one thing that I really hope sticks with everyone who has the opportunity to hear about us and visit us.
So more of a fun fact for us, I talked about the food on campus. So remember that our food is really good, and we have little robots that can deliver food to you anywhere on campus, which is kind of a fun thing.
I would say for Champlain, it's that upside down curriculum, that personalized attention, and really just getting to take classes that you're interested in your first year, your first day here at Champlain is super exciting. We want you to explore. We want you to be able to figure out the majors that you like and get that experience if you know exactly what you want to do. But if you don't know exactly what you want to do, we want you to explore that first year instead of waiting until your third or fourth year to really understand who you are, what you like to do, and start getting that professional experience. So definitely when you think about Champlain, think about all those real world experiences and that upside down curriculum.
So about Bennington, one of the things that continues to stick out to me is student involvement. So because the student is the center of everything at Bennington College, they are involved not only in creating their own education, but making decisions about where the college is going in the future, how things are on campus and how they should be, and many other ways in which students are involved. So if that is something that appeals to you at Bennington College, it's something that we do just naturally.
Last question. What is one myth that you would like to debunk about the college admissions process?
Okay, so the myth that I want to debunk is that the college application is not a puzzle for you to solve. Nobody is trying to trick you. There are no trick questions. The essay is not meant to trick you or scare you. When we say test optional, we really do mean that. We're just trying to get a good sense of who you are. And that's why we ask for so many different pieces, and we ask you to answer questions in different ways, because we only have that piece of paper in front of us to figure out who you are and how you might fit at our school. And so that's why we ask you to do so much legwork and put so much effort into the application. It's not meant to trick you. It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to give you the opportunity to really express who you are in a couple different ways, so that when we go to read it, we can really get a sense for that.
One of the myths I always heard when I was looking at schools was that colleges just dumped the buckets of files or just played roulette on their computer and just randomly picked people to say yes to and people to say no to. And that's not true. We all have different ways to make our decisions, but there are very thoughtful, considered, intentional decisions. There are humans behind all of these decisions. So know that we are people too, and we care about you as individuals. And even if it might seem random, they are intentional decisions.
Something folks talked a lot about here was merit scholarships and financial aid. And I think that's definitely a big consideration for a lot of folks and where you're going. One thing about Champlain is that if you get outside scholarships, we add them on top of your Champlain scholarships. We don't take them away from you. So make sure you're asking questions about financial aid and merit scholarships wherever you go. You heard a lot about financial aid and merit scholarships today. So Champlain is really excited that we offer both of those, financial aid and merit scholarships. We do that holistic review, like a lot of folks are saying. We look at all of those different pieces to see who you are as a whole person when we're considering those. We're not just looking at the GPA or just the recommendation letters. If you do an optional interview or optionally submit those SAT or ACT scores, we'll look at everything combined. We want to make sure that you are interviewing us as much as we're interviewing you. So definitely ask questions. The worst folks can say is no. If you ask for more money, the worst they can say is no. They're not going to take away scholarships that you already have just for asking. So always ask for more, always ask questions.
So Leah, again, same wavelength. So one myth I have also come across is, if I apply for financial aid, will that hurt my chances of being admitted? And that is a myth. Applying for financial aid will not hurt your chances of being admitted to college. So that's also something to keep in mind.
That brings us to just about the end of our time together. I have one more slide to wrap everything up, but officially one more time, one more thank you from myself, from all of our presenters, students, families. When you close the window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. Any feedback that you're willing to provide for us, we would greatly appreciate it. As I said, when we got started tonight, there's another round of sessions tomorrow. So please check the schedule on the website and sign up for anything else that you are interested in. And lastly, this session was recorded and it will be available as well as all other session recordings at strivescan.com/Texas. That brings us to the end of our time together. Thank you everyone for joining us. Presenters, you did fantastic. And I'm sure everyone would join me in saying that students, we do wish you the absolute best of luck in finding that perfect fit college for you. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day.